Hi everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today's something slightly different. I've been using my camera, Canon 77D, for about 6 months now, and today I just wanted to do a bit of a review of it and how I found using this camera over my recent trip to North Wales and also the vlogs that I've done around my local area beforehand and obviously subsequently as well, and just going through some of the settings, some of the features that I actually love about this camera, and also some of the images that I've taken recently as well with the camera, and explaining about how I've actually benefited and how my photography has improved from it. So let's come along for the journey. So as most of you know, I've been using this Canon 77D for about 6 months now, give or take, and I've found it to be a fantastic camera for that sort of entry or sort of enthusiast level camera, or photographer should I say, because it's got some key function on there that I feel is a little bit more, or you need to have a little bit more of an understanding of photography to use it in the first instance, but it's still within the sort of usability, that it's not sort of too complicated like some of the top end sort of professional cameras can be. So yeah, I found it really sort of helpful to use, and some of that is because of the dials and the details that it's actually got in the usability of it, plus also the sensor and the image quality that I've been able to capture with this is really sort of taken my quality of photography up to that next level, which is what I wanted to achieve from it. So again, sort of covering in one of the vlogs that I did not that 6 months ago, when I obviously introduced you to using my 77D, I obviously mentioned the reasons why I wanted to purchase it. So first things first, and it's still sort of relevant to it, is the price. Price for me, or the amount that I had to spend on a camera setup, was the key thing really. Yes, obviously if the pockets were deeper, then I would have gone for a full frame alternative, but they weren't really, so I had to look at what was in my price bracket. This camera definitely was. There was a sort of a very fine line between the 77D and the 80D, Canon 80D, and I wasn't really too sure what real sort of difference there was between the two. The sensor size was the same, the megapixels were, give or take, I think off the top of my head, the same as well, but yeah, there was the 80D was just that little bit more expensive, hence why I wanted to go for the 77D. I did also consider the Canon 800D, But again, I was feeling that really wasn't sort of meeting all of my needs. I wanted something that was kind of in that mid ground of usability range, and this again obviously sat within it. But there's very little between the 800D, the 77D and the 80D in the lineup. And when I was looking at some of the reviews, when they were comparing all three of those cameras side by side, yeah, it was really hard to sort of pick a winner out of all three. So I went for kind of the mid-ground one, and this is obviously what I've been able to get. The other thing as well that I was really pleased with when I purchased this camera was the lens that it came with, the 18-135 lens. I found it to be a really sort of helpful lens for the wide angle shots at 18mm. Yes, obviously it's a crop sensor, so you're not getting the full 18mm, I know that, but yeah, it's obviously from 18mm to the 135. Yeah, I was able to really sort of get a good reach on that lens, and the times that I've sort of taken it out on vlogs, but also when I've taken it out with the family to sort of different events, etc., I've found that actually that sort of reach of the lens has really sort of met my needs, and I'm not having to sort of change the lenses. When I was shooting on the 600D, and only having the kit lens of 18-55mm, I was really sort of struggling with that, in respect that I was having to change my lenses from obviously the wider angle to obviously the telephoto lenses lens that I've got more frequently than I'm needing to with this one. Now that's not wrong, and obviously I've done a vlog recently when I've used the my longer lens, and that's proven very vital and very helpful to have that lens in my bag, so I can obviously then use it when the conditions lend itself to it. However, as I say, from sort of pretty much most of the time now, and I think in fact all of the images and all the locations that I went to when I was in the Ogwen Valley was taken on the 18-135 lens, so I didn't really feel I hadn't needed to change it at all. Even to sort of get the 10-18mm lens, which is what I'm recording on the 600D, I didn't even need to take that off and put it on here, because I felt that I was able to obviously meet the needs with obviously this lens as well, so that was really quite good. So let's have a quick look about some of the usability features of this camera, again why I've actually sort of grown to love it as much as I have. So one of the other features that I've really grown to love about this camera is on the back here is the function wheel here, and being able to sort of use it and select different apertures and shutter speeds as well, and also using the dial on the top really creates a lot of quick usability, so I can able to adjust the camera settings as and when I need to. And then again for the quick settings on the top here, the button, particularly for the ISO, and again changing the ISO as and when I require it as well, is really working out to be quite a good function of the camera. The touch screen as well is really good, really sensitive. I'm able to sort of quickly access menus as well, again sort of change any more camera settings that I need to inside the actual camera as well. So rather than clicking all different buttons, I'm able to sort of use the touch screen. Again, sort of functionality, speed as well is really helpful for that one. Having the top display as well, so when I am out and about and I'm not sort of using the LCD screen as well, to save obviously battery life, you've obviously got then the settings there as well, so you can know what settings you're on and quickly sort of take those snaps straight away. So that's really helpful. The video function as well on here as well is really good. I'm really pleased with the quality of the video function. Again, obviously with the 18-135 lens on as well, some of the descriptions of the shots in front of me that I'm able to create, then obviously take a quick video on here, pan through that image with obviously the video function, with the camera set up on the tripod, again sort of gives to the viewer a more of a clearer explanation of why I'm actually choosing that composition as well, so that's really quite helpful. And again, another function is just the sort of margins for error. What I was finding when I was shooting with the 600D is you forever accidentally sort of moving a dial, changing a setting, and then when you're going to shoot and you're thinking, why is that image not actually coming out the way that I want to? And it's because accidentally you've actually changed the settings. For this one, it's really good because you need to depress this little button in the middle to actually then be able to turn the dial on the top, which again obviously prevents you from having that error as well. And also the lock function on the back here as well. Once you've clicked that on and you've actually it doesn't sort of press any of the buttons accidentally, then you sort of know that you've got everything sort of locked off, ready to go. So when obviously the sun sets, sunrise, whatever the situation is in front of you, then you know that nothing's going to be changed. You've set it all up and click straight away on it as well. So yeah, working out to be a really good and usable camera. Some of the other features I've recently added to my kit repertoire over the before I went to obviously the Ogwen Valley as well is the L bracket. I've used that so much now, and I didn't realise how much I would or need to use it when I'm taking the panoramic shots as well. So that's working out really quite well. And having that sort of pivot point when you're taking in portrait orientation, you can then obviously pan through the actual scene in front of you and obviously take several images, and then when you're stitching it together in post-processing, just works out to be that little bit better. I am also considering getting one of the spirit levels as well. As you've probably seen on a number of my vlogs when I've set myself up for my pano images, I'm trying to sort of best guess to level my tripod. It's not got a built-in spirit level, so yeah, that's another purchase that I'm looking to get. So any recommendations on there as well, please obviously post them at the bottom, because I'm quite keen to sort of have a look at those. I've seen a few on Amazon. There's obviously top end ones and mid-range ones and very, very cheap ones. So yeah, obviously disregarding the very, very cheap ones, but yeah, hopefully the mid-range ones are sort of fall within my price bracket as well. Obviously, yeah, with having the base plate, sorry, going back onto the L bracket, having the base plate as well sort of linked in, didn't mean that I needed to get a completely new ball head for my Manfrotto tripod as well. So that again was a really sort of added feature for that aspect as well. So regarding image quality with this camera, I've been really impressed. Again, as I said earlier, it's sort of taking my photography to that next level. So I don't actually print any of my images, which is a downfall in some viewers' eyes and obviously a plus in others. But I haven't got the quality printer that some people have, and not the inclination really as well to actually print my images. I prefer to sort of take them, store them digitally, and then I can obviously view them as high resolution as possible, and then obviously enjoy them in that respect. But maybe in the future I will consider it as well, because I've watched a number of vlogs now about printing crop sensor images, and the quality is really good. And what I've looked at on the back of the camera on the computer when I've come out to do some editing of the images, I've been super impressed with it as well. The actual sharpness and the quality of the lens, the 135 18 to 135 lens is really good. So I got a couple of images that I want to share with you that I've taken with this camera. First of all is the one that I took when I was at Southend Pier doing my day of long exposures. The quality there of the static objects and the smoothed out water was some of my best work, I think. I love the sort of black and white rendering of those images that I've been able to create. So yeah, having a look at some of those details and having the camera set up there as well was really good. Obviously using the 10-stop Hoya 10-stop filter that I've got as well really sort of added that sort of real different surreal dimension to the images as well. So that's one of the images that I really love, and the detail within that is really good. Moving on, some of the images that I've been able to capture in the Ogwen Valley as well, as I'm sort of scrolling through them on my phone, is one of the images that I was able to capture at when I was shooting Affoncleur. That was a fantastic location to really go to, and as I said at the time, one that I wanted to visit a number of times. But the image that I've actually got is probably not necessarily a conventional image, which is obviously using the leading line of the river down and obviously looking across the Ogwen Valley to Tryfan, etc. and the glitters. It was one of the images where I was turning literally 180 degrees and facing back up the mountain, and obviously took one of the mini waterfalls there as well. And the one is the image is of the rocks or the large boulder in the middle of the waterfall, and the cascade of the waterfall sort of creating like an S curve through the actual image is fantastic. The quality that I was able to take that image and the camera sort of record that image was really good. I believe off the top of my head the settings were f11, and the sharpness that I was able to get throughout that image, or in the majority of the main aspects of that image, was really good. And I really sort of feel that was one of my strongest images that I took all of that trip as well. So again, my next image that I really wanted to share with you as well is the image of the main lighthouse on Llanwyn Island that I took when I was again in Wales. That image with obviously the foreground interest leading through to the rocks and then up the path to the main sort of lighthouse on Llanwyn Island was again one of my favourite images that I was able to capture from that recent trip. Having again this sort of detail that I was able to get there within the camera, being able to sort of set it up using the L bracket, getting that sort of leading lines right in the correct spaces or the points of the image that I wanted to create. Again, having the versatility of the lens as well to sort of pick out those details and obviously crop it into exactly where I wanted to do. Unfortunately, the light wasn't really on my side on that time. However, yeah, that was one of those situations, but again, it was really good that I was able to sort of set the camera up and get that sort of detail within the image as well, that I was really pleased with. And the final image that I really wanted to share with you is one of the images, or probably one of my final image that I was actually taken when I was doing the final sunrise shoot just near the campsite at Gwerngorff Isaf when I was in North Wales, with obviously the large boulder in the bottom left of the image, and then obviously the sunrise as well, and blending two exposures, two images together to obviously get that HDR effect on the final image, was again sort of something I really loved about the camera. It was able to record and retain the detail in the sky and the exposure that I took for the sky, and then the detail as well, and the interest in the rocks as well in the foreground image. And then when I combined the images both together in post-processing and blended them together, created probably the best image that I've taken this year so far. I'm absolutely blown away with that one, and really sort of happy that I was able to sort of take that image and have the camera there to actually put it to its full use as well. So yeah, really pleased with the image quality that I've been able to capture with this camera. So thanks a lot for joining me on today's vlog, talking about my 77D. As I say, I love using this camera. I've found that the usability is really good for me, and how I've been able to improve my photography as well to no end using this actual camera has really helped. But it's all about personal perspective really. People prefer Canon, Nikon, Sony, whatever it may well be, but all I would suggest about people about looking about a camera is go for whatever you feel comfortable using and set yourself a budget, because like anything, you can spend thousands and thousands, but also you can spend a few hundred. Now it's all relative to whatever is your budget really. The thing that's only going to improve your photography, and the thing that I've been trying to sort of put across in some of my vlogs, is the fact of actually getting out. You could have tens of £1,000s worth of camera gear sitting at home, but it's no good if it's sitting at home and not in your hand when you're in a surroundings like this or wherever it may well be. It's only as good as when you can actually get out there and use it, and that's my only advice really about camera gear. Get whatever you can afford, get whatever you can feel comfortable using, and just then get out and actually take some images with it. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's vlog. If you have, please consider giving it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And if you haven't checked out some of my recent content as well, please make sure you check out some of my recent content. But thanks a lot for watching, and take care.